How to record smooth gameplay in OBS at 60 frames per second in Windows 11 with little to no jitter. A common problem I see people having online is when they're trying to record their game, the gameplay is fine, but when they go and view the recording, it is choppy and it looks like it's lagging and they're losing frames or something. So here's the fix that I found that will hopefully help you. The main thing that I found to resolve my issue, at least while recording with OBS, I'd say it solved 98 to 99% of my problems, was using a second monitor and running OBS on that second screen. Do not run OBS on the screen that you're gaming on. For whatever reason, at least in Windows 11, I don't remember it doing this with Windows 7, but if you have any kind of second monitor, I'm literally using a field monitor here that is maybe 8 by 6 inches. It's 1920 by 80 resolution, but it is very small, but it's just enough so I can see that the game is actually recording. I'm going to show my settings here in a second, but if you have a 144 hertz monitor or above and you want that smooth gameplay, but you still want a nice smooth game recording, set your monitor to 120 hertz and still record the game at 60 frames per second in OBS. This will still result in pretty smooth gameplay, and you won't notice the jitteriness while you're playing. Otherwise, if you have a 60 hertz monitor, just make sure it's on 60 hertz and record at 60 frames per second. The recording should be buttery smooth. The sample gameplay footage you've been seeing here was me playing the game at 120 hertz and recording at 60. Here's some of my other settings that I have in Windows that I think may or may not affect it, but I'll show them anyways. So I have game mode in Windows disabled. And if you go under graphics and default graphics settings, I actually had this off, but I recently switched it on. I'm going to try it with it on. I'm heard it could help maybe, but a little bit, but it doesn't hurt. But experiment with the hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. I actually remembered what I did is I went to the start menu, and if you want to know how I got Windows 11 to look like Windows 7, I'll do a video on my second channel, Top Thrill Matt. So to get to the power mode on Windows 10 and 11, the easiest thing to do is probably type in change power plan, and it'll search it right here. And then this is the screen you want here. So mine was unbalanced, and I made this high performance because I know on my laptop, this was actually on HP recommended because I have an HP Omen. So Lord only knows how freaking slow that was. There is a huge difference between power plans, especially when you're on a laptop. When you're on the lowest, the power saver, I mean, it will lag even the most simple games. I've tried it. So I would just leave this on higher performance, especially if you're on a desktop. You'd rather have the power in the frames. So to show my NVIDIA settings here, I'm right-clicking, and this may be different depending on the graphics card that you have because they have different options. So if we go under, I did have G-Sync disabled. I may try and re-enable this just to see if there's a difference, but I wasn't experiencing any screen tearing with this disabled, but it's also going to depend on the type of monitor you have. And if we go under everything else here, you don't need to touch, except this is, like I said, the trick here that mainly got this working was hooking up a second monitor. And whereas before, when I was running on just one monitor and shrinking OBS, game capture would work, but it would be laggy. So I'd have to use display capture, and display capture was still hit or miss. So this was the solution right here, which makes no sense. I'm gonna go under just 3D settings here. I don't remember if I changed anything here, but these are just my settings, just in case you want to look at what I have here. I know monitor technology, since I disabled G-Sync, I now have it on fixed, because if you put it on this, it's going to enable G-Sync. Power management mode, you can maybe change to maximum performance. I haven't really noticed any difference with that, but that may help as well. And then for V-Sync is another important one, I think, is you're just using whatever game you have settings. So each game is different. I just let it use the game settings. Now there's all these different things and adaptive, and I've had good luck when I've had screen tearing just in general. If you're not trying to record, fast is really good. Now I just want to go into my OBS settings here, show you guys. Base canvas, you're putting this at your monitor's native resolution. This is my 2K monitor. I just have it output at 1920 by 1080 because there's really not a difference between that and 2K, and it's just using more You know, when you upload it to YouTube, you can do 2K at 60 frames, but you can't go higher than that. I have the frames per second on 60, downscale filter to Lanzos, however you say that. Processor priority above normal. You could even try high too, but if your game is using a lot of power, you don't want to go too high, so I found this to be good. And then under output, this used to be, I had this on advanced, and I was looking up all kind of videos saying go to advanced, and there's all these different settings. I just went back to what worked with me like 4 years ago on Windows 7 when I used to play Grand Theft Auto 5. I would do this exact thing recording it, and I never had these weird stuttering issues with OBS like I did, but I did have that second monitor hooked up, so maybe that was it. I don't know, but I just went back to simple. Keep it simple. I kept it to indistinguishable quality. Some people say you shouldn't record to MP4 because if it gets corrupted or if you like lose power, your whole file's gone. I've never had a problem with MP4, so I just leave it on that. And if you have a hardware, the NVENC encoder, it's like a hardware that's on your graphics card. It's separate. It's meant for like recording and stuff and encoding things, and it barely takes any power at all, especially from your game. So you definitely want to have that on, and you're recording to MP4. But I have Cortana disabled too, especially in the registry, and I think she slows crap up. I also recommend you download this monitor profile switcher. It allows you to just switch back and forth, super easy. So you can create profiles and then save them. So this is my normal hertz right here when I just want my single monitor. So I go boom, 144 hertz. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful. I have spent over a week, 8 to 10 plus hours a day trying to figure this out, and it seems to be the most consistent across different games as far as recording. I know everyone's hardware and software is different, so what may work for someone might not work for somebody else, but hopefully this at least helps someone. And this is my gaming channel. If you love gaming, make sure you drop a sub here. This was just kind of a different video because I was doing these test plays, and I'm like, well, you know, I might as well make a video out of this because maybe this can help somebody. And like we always say, thanks for gaming.